made a Pennsylvania. Yes, only Scott can get that address. Sheriff Taylor, good to see you. He is at 400 Resort Road in Olympic Valley, and Aaron can attest to that. He saw him yesterday, I'm sure. Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Resort Road sounds real tough.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Sheriff.
Can you hear me?
You want to test your sound? It got worse, believe it or not. It's okay. We'll work on that as the meeting rolls forward. Antonio, you need the floor first. We have some IT related direction for us. And yet again, don't feel bad about failing this. I'll fail it way before you do it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, board members. We have streamlined the process for you to access meeting agendas and reports today. The agenda is preloaded on your iPad, and it is designed for ease of use. Simply scroll through the agenda page and tap any link to open the related materials. To return to the agenda, press the back button located at the top left of the screen. I'm happy to answer any questions now or during the course of the meeting as necessary. And if you have anything else, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move right on. Natalia, the favorite part of the meeting is where you go through the many things you have to do to participate in this meeting and be able to speak during public comments. So thank you for taking this on for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. We are meeting both in person and virtually, and we will support public participation during this meeting through the Zoom webinar platform. For those participating remotely, if you wish to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature on Zoom or physically raise your hand so we can see you. Members in the room, please remember to state your name before making a comment so that those participating remotely may know who is speaking. Regarding voting, all agenda items that require a vote will require a roll call vote at the end of each agenda item. Board members in the room, please remember to turn off your microphones when you are not speaking. And please remember to speak into the microphone so that those on Zoom may hear you. For the members of the public, for this portion, I'd like to hand it over to Executive Director McGuire to describe some process changes we're making to the members of the public.
I'm actually not sure what that is.
Neither am I, so we'll go back to the rest of the instructions. Apologize for that. We will give the members of the public the opportunity to comment after the presentation of each agenda item and prior to the board voting on an item. You'll have 2 minutes for your comment. After the 2 minutes have ended, I will verbally let you know, and you may watch the screen where we will display a 2-minute timer. We encourage anyone wishing to make a public comment to raise their hand at the start of each agenda item being discussed. Members of the public will not have the ability to unmute yourself during discussion until the chair opens it up for the public comment. You must raise your hand on Zoom or send a request through public comment at bscc.ca.gov. This is also available on our website. If you sent in a request through the public comment email box, I will call on the email address or identifier you provided in your email. If you are calling by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. Dial *6 to unmute yourself. I will call on those who have raised their hands and those who have emailed your request to speak, and I will ask you to unmute yourself. I will notify you when the 2-minute timer sounds and ask you to wrap up your thought. In addition, we will have the 2-minute timer visible on the screen, so please try to keep track of your time. When the time is up, please wrap up so that we have the opportunity to hear from everyone who wants to make a comment. Also, if your comment aligns with other speakers, please feel free to associate your comment with prior speakers. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we work to ensure all speakers can be heard. Agenda item 5 is the opportunity for any member of the public to make a comment on any agenda items or other comments in general. We will call the members on Zoom first, and then the members here in Sacramento. Public participants in the room, please complete a public comment card by the door and provide it to me during the meeting. As a reminder, you may follow along and view the list of those in the public comment queue by visiting bscc.ca.gov and clicking on the link to the agenda. Madam Chair, that concludes my instructions.
Thank you. I see Dr. Lai has joined us, but I am assuming it's in a different participation mode because we do not have a public address for Dr. Lai.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to expand on that, or you like what I said well enough to go with it?
Yeah, there's two different ways people can participate remotely for a Notice Bagley Keene meeting. Dr. Lai is not participating at a public location, but because we have a quorum here in Sacramento, she's allowed to do that and still participate.
So including voting.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. Welcome, Dr. Lai. Good to see you. It looks like you're in a wonderful place.
Hi,
on the
thank you.
background.
Thank you.
I have to give a bit of a grin when I look at my blue notes and they give them to me before every meeting. And the next line says, Linda's supposed to say, this is an exciting meeting. So I'd like to say this is an exciting meeting. And that is because we have two new members to swear in today. And Dr. Gina Castro Rodriguez, who is a licensed marriage and family counselor and a family therapist and has a long, amazing professional life that I could go into, but that would take another half hour. Let me just say that she's been in the field for 30 years. She has experience in trauma-informed care, in mental health, and she has done a lot of community wellness work in San Francisco, where she is based, and we are delighted to have you. I am going to give you some time to speak in just a moment, but before I do that, let me say this. Dr. Would you like to be Dr. Castro Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to go with that. Is filling our second spot on the board that was created by legislation in 2023. She joins Dr. Lai as the newest standing positions on the board, and we're delighted to have that filled. And I cannot tell you what great contributions have already come from Dr. Lai, and I expect no less from you. So there's the challenge. And thank you for being here. Also, not new to those of us in this world, we have Dr. Heather Bowles with us. She is the new acting director of the Division of Adult Parole. She too has a long, auspicious history that I am going to let you reference when you say a few words in just a bit. She is taking Jason Johnson's spot on the board. Jason snuck out and we were not able to make a big deal, fanfare, balloons, and all the other things we do when people leave, and that's not the truth. But with that said, I would like to take an opportunity to thank Jason for his service to the board. He stepped up, worked on executive steering committees, participated meaningfully during every meeting, and yet again, we expect no less of you. So thank you, thank you. At this time, we're going to swear you in, and as you do that, think of what you're going to say when we get back to your chairs. All right, where would you like to do that? Here, is this good? Microphone? Thank you, thank you. Let's have both of you, let's see, both of you there. We'll move this chair. Honestly, can't get any staff cooperation here. There you go. Come forward, thank you. Now, I'm going to say I, and then both of you say your own names.
Okay.
Working. I
Dina Castro Rodriguez, Heather Bowles.
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Do solemnly swear I will support and defend the Constitution of the United
Okay,
States. Do it
we're going
together.
to do it a do-over.
Okay.
Strike that earlier one because your names were different. The rest of this will be exactly the same. Unless you want to add something, and I really would not ask you to do that. Okay. I
Dina Castro Rodriguez, Heather Bowles.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully
And that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Close enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Okay, good.
Everything after this is cake. Oh, pictures. This is okay here. Thank you, sir.
And now I get kicked out. I get kicked out.
This might be the most exciting swearing in we've ever had. You did say it's an
Yeah.
exciting day.
And let-
As everybody can see, I require a lot of instruction today. Dr. Rodriguez, see, it's not going smoothly. You start to take a drink and I ask you to make some remarks. Welcome and please tell us a little about yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. I am so honored to be here and to be, thank you. So honored to be here and so honored to be part of the board. I have worked for a long time in both community and government organizations around criminal and juvenile justice. I have particular care and interest for the lives of young people who are affected by violence, have done a lot of research and study in the area of the cycle of trauma and trying to disrupt that cycle. Recently, I served 7 years as the Chief of Victim Services at the District Attorney's Office in San Francisco, serving crime victims. Went on to the Prosecutors Alliance to do legislative and research around survivors and run their Survivor Center. And most recently was at the University of California, San Francisco, working on a national project for treating trauma across the country with crime survivors. So you can see this is my passion and my interest. I really care about people getting better, public safety, ending harm, and I'm just thrilled to be here and be able to contribute. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Be a great addition to the board.
Thank you.
Appreciate your volunteerism.
Of course. Thank you.
Dr. Bowles, Director Bowles. I'm going to call you Director Bowles from here on out.
All right.
Welcome and please tell us a little about yourself.
All right. Well, I too am excited and honored to be able to be here. I do know I have very big shoes to fill in taking over Jason's role, so I will put the pressure on myself to do so. So a little bit about myself. I've been with CDCR since 1999, spent the vast majority of my career with the Division of Juvenile Justice. Started off, forensic psychology is my background, so started off as a psychological intern, fell in love with the work, with the youth, developing programs and really understanding the importance of that opportunity. Had a lot of really great opportunities with DJJ and was able to take on the director role in its DJJ's final years. Very happy I was able to have an opportunity to come over to the Division of Adult Parole Operations once that was over. And same thing, obviously reentry and programming reintegration is an incredibly important part of the criminal justice continuum. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be there to be able to continue this work.
Thank you. Thank you. And you do have a long history of great interaction with all kinds of agencies. And you yet again bring some great views. You are a subject matter expert and I think will make a difference on the board. Thank you. Thank you to both of our subject matter experts. You expand the depth and breadth of this board and it's really exciting to have you. With that said, Natalia, are you ready to take roll and see if we have a quorum here today?
Yes, Chair Penner,
Present.
Mr. McCumber, Ms. Bolds,
Here.
Mr. Taylor,
Present.
Mr. Haynes,
Present.
Ms. Branning,
Present.
Ms. Guard.
Here.
Mr. Scott is absent. Mr. Budnick,
Here.
Ms. Zaragoza,
Here.
Ms. Kumpian,
Here.
Ms. Lai,
Here.
Ms. Castro Rodriguez.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I'm just taking a quick moment in my report to announce some really exciting news. It has been a long journey. Allison Ganter has been confirmed and is now fully entrenched in the position of our in-custody death director. We appreciate your energy during your confirmation hearing. It was remarkable, super positive, and I was proud to be a colleague of yours as you got through that process. So thank you, Allison. Is there anything you want to say? Except you've changed your mind. We don't allow for that. Anything else? We'll let you, now that you're official.
I just want to thank everybody for the support. It's been a little bit of a long time coming, but we're building a fantastic team. We have a lot of great work to do. I'm looking forward to being before you and sharing regular updates on this really important topic. And yeah, it's both intimidating and exciting to start a new division in the state, but really looking forward to getting the work done. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Allison. That's great. Now turning to our executive director, Aaron, do you want to give your report at this point?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Just a brief update is this time of year, the budget is being negotiated between the legislature and the administration. So I did want to do a quick budget update. And then after that, I'm going to do a brief update to talk about the status of Los Angeles County. And I'll ask at that point Judge Guard to leave the room as we do that sort of brief update, and Mr. Budnick, who's also recused on that, but I do want to do a brief report out on Los Angeles as well. I think as you're aware, the legislature is in the process of adopting the budget before the June 15th constitutional deadline. That in years past, this is not sort of the end of the budgetary process. At some point, the administration continues to negotiate with the legislature on what the final budget is, but what we anticipate to happen this week is for the legislature to pass its version of the budget. I wanted to highlight a couple of items which we anticipate to be approved, even though, again, as I just sort of caveated, it's not the final budget, but we've seen indications of support from the legislature and the administration for a couple of proposals. One is removing a reporting requirement related to the Community Correction Partnerships Plan. You may recall that as part of the budget last year, there was funding that was removed for counties to provide those plans to the BSCC. This would be some technical cleanup to remove that requirement for us to collect those plans going forward now that the funding's been removed. There's also looking at approval of some trailer bill that was actually, it's not our trailer bill, it's trailer bill that was proposed by the Department of Cannabis Control related to the Prop 64 grant program. A feature of that would expand the eligibility of that grant program to additional jurisdictions that allow for retail sale, but would allow grantees who don't allow cultivation in the jurisdiction. So it would expand the eligibility of jurisdictions to apply for that grant program. And then finally, there appears to be support to authorize the board to initiate litigation with respect to facilities that become unsuitable under Welfare and Institutions Code Section 209. That final language has not been approved of what that trailer bill is going to look exactly like, but the concept at least has support at this moment. So there's also a couple of technical reappropriations for some of our grant funds that I won't go into. And again, all of this is sort of conditioned on final approval with the legislature and the governor. One final legislative item I just wanted to flag as we're dealing with the adult reentry grant that's going to be awards as part of the agenda today is there is a bill moving through the legislature, AB 29, that would move the adult reentry program to housing and community development. I just wanted to flag that for the board's attention. And then with that, I would look to Judge Guard and Mr. Budnick to recuse. I'd like to just do a sort of a brief status update on the decision to pull the agenda item regarding the determination of suitability for Los Angeles County. And seeing Judge Guard has left the room, and Mr. Budnick has also recused himself. So this is just, I want to give a sort of a brief timeline of the sort of proceedings which have gone on with the case that's before Judge Espinoza and sort of the back and forth that we've been dealing with the probation department at this point. So back at April 18th, Judge Espinoza required Los Angeles to submit a depopulation plan related to Los Padrinos and the fact that the facility was not suitable for the confinement of youth based on the determination of this board. In May, LA requested of us to re-inspect Barry J. Neidorf to hold predisposition males and also to review their plans to house pre and post-disposition females at Camp Kilpatrick. The following day, we had requested operational program statements for Barry J. Neidorf to be used as a juvenile hall, as well as an operational program statement for Camp Kilpatrick. The plan was to review those operational program statements and to conduct re-inspections of those facilities, pending the information that we were requesting. May 16th, Judge Espinoza approved the county's depopulation plan. But what we have requested is the operational program statements to, look at Barry J. Neidorf to see whether or not it can be suitable to be used as a facility. They sent us their operational program statement on May 27th for Barry J. and Camp Kilpatrick. We then, on June 6th, requested some additional information related to the operational program statement for Camp Kilpatrick. We're still waiting for information. And then on June 9th, we did receive a plan regarding Barry J. Neidorf. However, we also requested a staffing plan for Barry J. Neidorf, which we have yet to receive. So we are still requesting a current staffing assessment for Barry J. Neidorf. And because we have not received that information yet, we were not able to conduct a reinspection prior to this board meeting. And that is why we decided to pull the agenda item off calendar. We hope to get that additional information soon. And pending, again, receipt of that information, we would at least look at re-inspecting Barry J. Neidorf at some point next week. And then we would bring back recommendations depending on the outcome of that re-inspection to the board to consider whether or not Barry J. Neidorf would be suitable for use as a juvenile hall once we get to that point in July. But again, a lot of steps need to happen along the way before we bring that matter back to the board.
Thank you, that's helpful. Questions, because there was a lot of information here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kirk Haynes, Chief Probation Officer in Fresno. Thank you, Aaron, for the report. Just in regard to Barry J. So Barry J. now is being used as the SYTF facility
Correct.
today? And have we had regular inspections of Barry J. and have they been okay there?
So we did do a comprehensive inspection of Barry J. as the SYTF a few months ago. And yes, they passed that comprehensive inspection.
And then for Camp Kilpatrick, we've asked for, as part of, I'm assuming, the depopulation plan. Is that their plan, is to potentially use Camp Kilpatrick or only Barry J?
So there's, and I want to maybe separate these items off. Probation has proposed sort of a global plan to reorganize the entire detained population. And part of the reducing the population at Los Padrinos includes this idea of moving youth from the female youth from Los Padrinos to Kilpatrick. So that is part of the depopulation plan as well.
And then as part of the staffing plan, that we're waiting for, is that for Barry J and for Kilpatrick in anticipation of this move?
It's primarily, we would like to have staffing plans for both. We are particularly concerned of the staffing plan for Barry J. Nydorf because one of the reasons why they were determined to be unsuitable to be used as a juvenile hall was staffing issues
Sure.
previously.
And what's the timeline that Judge Espinoza give for them to be out of Los Padrinos?
The next court hearing is in July. It's the day after our next board meeting.
Okay, thanks.
So
Erin, is Dorothy Kirby Center part of any of the discussions regarding the housing of predisposition youth?
I believe it is, but it's a later phase, and we have not started looking at that yet.
Okay, and so the operational plans for both have already been submitted. Can you give us any insight on, what the remaining items are that they're working on? I guess people just, like the public and myself, are curious about, whether or not this is achievable. Like, can probation get there? We're talking about more than doubling the population at Campus Kilpatrick, and we're talking about moving many predispo young people back into Barry J. And I know that there was a probation oversight commission meeting where probation officials were, present to discuss some of these issues, but it just wasn't really clear what the remaining items are that you all are discussing with them, and whether it's actually really feasible that they're able to accomplish what they want to, given the timeline that Judge Espinoza has imposed on them.
Yeah, I mean, so the operational program statements are pretty high level descriptions of how they plan to run the facility. And again, we're focused and would like to see get additional information on Barry J to the concern of, again, staffing is an issue at Los Padrinos.
Yeah.
Staffing was an issue at Barry J when it was running both as an SYTF and as a juvenile hall. And obviously we have concerns about staffing if youth move back to Barry J. So.
Do you expect to be able to provide Judge Espinoza with an update before the next hearing?
We certainly hope to provide an update to this board prior to the next hearing, and then to the extent we are able to provide that information to Judge Espinoza. We've been invited to provide information, and we've provided information to the court the last couple of hearings, so we would anticipate doing that. So yes, we would like to keep the court informed as to what the status is.
Okay, so just to be clear, there's tons of rumors flying around LA County about, how long probation is going to wait, if they're going to wait at all for, determinations made by this body. Because it sounds like they're kind of forging ahead with some of these plans. Can Kilpatrick at this time be utilized for predisposition youth? Can predispo youth be housed there at this time?
I think we're still waiting on a couple of issues. And I'm just gonna leave it there. So I can't say for certain it can be used as a juvenile hall right now.
Thank you.
What are they using it for now? What are they using Kilpatrick for now?
It's an SYTF.
Isn't it? Okay. I see. Okay, for all youth, or just females or males or all boys? Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so as the name suggests, Camp Kilpatrick was built as a camp.
Of course.
And it was used as an SYTF. There's a couple of features of the facility that, there are a couple of features that are required of a juvenile hall, such as intake, which they need to properly describe how they're going to deal with intake at that facility. So things like that, that we're trying to make sure just we have a clear explanation of how that's going to happen.
Thank you.
Norma?
So, for the SYTF, Angeles just mentioned how it's an internal step down. And so the youth that were in Barry J, when they were doing their program, doing well, they were getting moved to Kilpatrick as a, I guess, internal step down or kind of like a reward of this is life, right? You do what you're supposed to do and you have this opportunity to be housed in a place that is better. So for the youth who are doing well now, what is the plan to move those youth into a Kilpatrick situation, or what does that look like? Do you know?
My understanding is the male youth that are at Kilpatrick right now are slated to move back to Barry J.
The ones who are doing well.
Yes.
Okay.
My understanding is that there have been many hearings going on for the last couple of weeks to step them down into the community. And as of the Probation Oversight Commission meeting earlier this week, probation is representing that they've made step down recommendations for all 16 remaining youth at Kilpatrick. So they would be, if the judge agrees, they would be stepped down from Kilpatrick into the community instead of going back to Barry J.
Is it the community programs that they have, or is it the community as in their family?
They would go into a less restrictive program.
The programs they have. Okay.
Mhm.
Right. Thank you.
So, thank you for your questions. Very thoughtful. All things that we have thought about, we've talked about internally repeatedly. We do think that we need more information before we proceed anywhere in terms of decision-making with LA, which is why it's being taken off the calendar today. We didn't like the altitude of the information we got originally, and we want a deeper dive to see exactly what they're going to do to improve repeated issues surrounding staffing. So that's where we stand. You're all becoming well-versed in LA and the many myriad of issues that we face every time an issue arises. So thank you for your insight and your participation. Do I see a hand up, Sheriff? Or just you moving your hand?
Just moving around.
Okay. Moving on?
That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Yes, and you're still up to bat. We're looking for a legal update.
I don't think we have a legal update for today. I would just flag, as we usually do, the item D on the action items is a grant, and to the extent people need to recuse themselves from that, I would just make sure you look at the list of people that are being awarded and recuse if necessary. I'm assuming Ms. Kumpion and Mr. Budnick will probably have to recuse on that item.
Yes.
Thank you. And then I believe that's the end of the information items.
No legislative update today?
It's in the binder if you want to take a look at that. I flagged the one bill that I wanted to bring to the board's attention.
Okay. Inviting Mr. Budnick back. How do we texting him?
Why don't we do public comment before?
Oh, okay. Okay. So do you want Judge Gard to leave?
Yeah, why don't we have Judge Gard?
So you've kicked her out.
I just kicked her out twice. I apologize.
Enough for the record.
And we'll do public comment for the information items.
Okay. Okay. Any further comments from the board before we begin public comment on any of the items that have been discussed previously? Seeing none, I would now ask for public comments. Anyone in the room wish to make public comments regarding any items discussed in this portion of our agenda? Natalia, do we have people virtually that would like to make comments?
We don't have anyone on Zoom. If you have a public comment, please raise your hand. We have one.
Okay.
Melinda, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. My name's Melinda Kakani. I'm with the Children's Defense Fund California, and I sit on the Probation Oversight Commission. I'm giving this comment in my capacity as an employee of the Children's Defense Fund and as it relates to LA's, I don't know if there's a better word to describe it than dysfunction. I appreciate the care and the attention that you all are giving to this issue. I think it's important to note that we are working with a fixed number of resources. And so when we're talking about playing musical facilities, which is all this depopulation plan really amounts to, we are not addressing the ultimate issue of the harm that our young people are facing. Moving 50 kids from Los Padrinos to Barry J doesn't solve the issue that we don't have staff who want to come to work and that we don't have folks who want to join this department. So I urge you to not just take what probation provides on paper as truth. You all have seen this issue over the years repeatedly. LA has been in and out of compliance for years. Just last summer, right? You all noted that LA was out of compliance for programming because of essentially falsified documents. All that to say, again, LA might provide you with the most beautiful plan on paper, but I think we know that reality is something else. And I hope that you take that into account when you decide to approve plans that ultimately place young people's lives in danger. Thank you.
Thank you. Natalia, do we have other?
Yes, we
members
have
of the
two
public?
more.
And can we close the queue, please? You want to speak? Okay, we'll be right with you.
Helen, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Helen Eigenberg, and I'm just calling in regarding Los Padrinos and the situation in Los Angeles. I'm a resident of Los Angeles and have been following all of this for a long time. I'm just a constituent. And I just want to highlight the fact that you were unable to talk about Barry J today because probation did not provide you the information that you needed. This is a constant ongoing thing with the chief of probation. He either doesn't show or he provides the information that has been requested way ahead of time the night before. So please take that into consideration when looking all this. This is unacceptable. None of us could do this at our work and still have our jobs. And I know it's not your job whether he stays in this position or not, but please pay attention to the shell game that he is playing here. And I also just want to, note, again, kind of just supporting with what Ms. Kakani just said. We are in dire straits here. We are not getting information. We're not getting deadlines about anything. I'm so concerned about the harm that will come to the youth, their families, the communities, and the staff. This chief has no buy-in from his staff. The staffing issues are not going away, and we're going to play musical chairs. And someone referred to it, it's like moving the chairs on the Titanic, which is a horrible thing to say, because these are children, these are youth in our county, and we must take care of them. And I feel like hot potato is being played here. Everyone, the county, the court, the state, everyone's just passing this potato around, and it's not a potato. These are young people's lives, and we've got to do better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nina, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. Lena Mallet with the Children's Defense Fund, wanting to echo and highlight all the comments that have already been made. But since the judicial approval of LA County's probation depopulation plan, which to your acknowledgement included BSCC reinspection of a number of facilities, community members, service providers, youth, and their families have struggled with tracking the implementation of this plan. And it's a plan that's received criticism from community and county stakeholders alike, including probation line officers. The department has been unable to share any concrete timelines or details related to the facilities plan. And we were waiting for this BSCC meeting for clarity and transparency. And I really do appreciate the follow-up and questions, but respectfully request that all correspondence and documentation around the reinspection process for Barry J. Nidorf and Campus Vernon Kilpatrick be shared with us. LA's facilities plan will absolutely not result in any compliance with title regulations. And at the end of these population shifts, the department will still be staffed with the same amount of personnel and the same amount of youth detained in their facilities. This board has rightfully repeatedly indicated a lack of faith in LA County's probation ability to effectuate corrective action plans throughout several public settings, given the endless cycles of noncompliance in its juvenile halls. And I ask that you hold on to that ethos and do not allow the department to fool you again. And I also understand the focus on Barry J. Nightoff, but I think the same scrutiny needs to be applied to Kilpatrick. To Angeles' point, the department is planning on more than doubling the population size at Kilpatrick. This is a facility in Malibu that is far from the communities that probation officers are commuting to. I think the likelihood of them showing up there is even lower than they will at Barry J. Nightoff. So I think a detailed staffing plan for that facility is required. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena.
We have a final comment on Zoom from Tanya.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the statements made by Helen, Melinda, and Lena. We have been attending, I'm a constituent here in Los Angeles, and I've been attending many of the probation oversight committee meetings. And it's alarming how many times the probation committee has requested documents and information from the probation department, and they have just been met with resistance to the point where they've even considered sending subpoenas and asking for advice from county council about their ability to send subpoenas, which I find utterly ridiculous that an oversight committee that was put in there to give advice and to provide a forum for stakeholders would have to get a subpoena in order to get basic information from the probation department. It's now been several years. The probation department is having chronic problems with its staffing. And we are just asking that the state please take action, do more. It's time to really focus on the problems with the Department of Probation. This is a setting that will result in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that will be filed in the future on behalf of these kids. The LA County just settled a lawsuit for billions of dollars, and we're just setting the stage for a second lawsuit here. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you.
All the comments on Zoom. Do we
I
have
believe we have
anyone?
a
in
member of
person?
the audience, and you didn't fill out a comment card. Well, let's get it over here. Thank you. I was going to give you a pass on the comment card. You got to turn it on.
There.
There you go. And your name, please.
Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Tanya Thompson, and I am speaking today in my personal capacity as a private citizen. I am exercising my rights under the First Amendment and the Fair Employment and Housing Act to provide comments on a matter of public concern. How policies are being manipulated to intimidate and gaslight employees. The BSCC sets statewide policy and enforces corrective measures when counties fail to protect vulnerable populations.
Tanya. Absolutely. Your comments are, will be ready and willing to hear those. It's just the wrong portion of the agenda.
It's tied to the LA standards. Allow me to finish.
Let's see if, okay. Please give her 30 seconds more because I interrupted, please.
The BSCC sets statewide policy and enforces corrective measures when counties fail to protect vulnerable populations, much like they did when they declared 2 LA County juvenile halls unsuitable. The board took a stand and protected the vulnerable youth in LA County. But who stands for the vulnerable BSCC employees when the harm comes from those in authority? When policy is no longer a safeguard, but a weapon. I was assigned one of the largest and most complex grant portfolios in the agency with little to no support. That work is now being managed by 4 field reps. After I requested compensation under CalHR's arduous workload policy, I began to experience harassment, retaliation, and was excluded from training opportunities. Ultimately, I was named in an EEO complaint of harassment by my manager, me, a subordinate, accused by their superior. Last I checked, that's what corrective action and progressive discipline were for. So I leave this board with 2 questions. Number 1, how do you measure up to the standards you impose on others? And number 2, when will this agency be held accountable for creating the very conditions it was established to address? Thank you.
Okay, that's all the members in the room that would like to address the board. Natalia, no others?
That's it for public
Okay,
comment.
thank you very much. Back to the board. Moving on now to item 3, consent agenda items. The board would take a quick look at that while we invite Judge Guard and Scott Budnick back into the room.
Linda, could I ask you, before you continue, could you move the mic a little bit closer to yourself?
Sure, sure.
I apologize for interrupting. Thank you so much.
There's one. Are we reaching out to Mr. Budnick? We're on consent agenda items. I'm going to move forward and hope Mr. Budnick comes back soon. Have we taken roll? Yes.
We
Okay,
did.
sorry, I've got a little
And
discombobulated.
I think on the consent items, Madam Chair, actually, I think we should bifurcate agenda item A and B, because agenda item A is reflective of the minutes that were just by the appeal hearing panel. So I think only the appeal hearing panel members should vote on
B,
A,
on A.
and then the rest of
Okay.
the body can
So just
can
3 of us
approve B.
vote?
I think so.
Okay.
Do you need a motion? I'll move to approve those minutes.
Yeah.
On item A. thank
Yes,
you.
for the appeal hearing on item A.
A second, please.
Second.
Okay.
And then Natalia, if you could call the roll for Chair Penner, Ms. Kumpion, and Mr. Taylor.
Chair Penner,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpion,
Aye.
Mr. Taylor.
Aye.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
the motion carries for
Thank you.
agenda item A.
Thank you. Moving to item B, minutes from the April 9th meeting.
And actually, we should request for public comment on the consent calendar as well, Madam Chair.
Right, but are we done with the consent item yet?
Well, we did it A. We do need to do B, but we need to make sure we request public comment for the consent item calendar, which we did not do for agenda item A.
I would assume we would do all consent items together.
Correct.
Would you want me to bifurcate them?
We just did the bifurcation for A and B. So we just did the roll for item A.
All right.
We do need to take the roll for item B, and I apologize, and we do need to request public comment for both of those items.
Any comments from the board on the consent agenda item? Either A or B? Any comments from the public, virtually or in the room?
If you have public comment on Zoom, please raise your hand. Consent items. No public comment at this time.
Thank you. Back to the board. Now I'm looking for a motion in a second.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the consent items.
We have a motion. Do we need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Natalia?
Chair Penner?
No, I was trying to clarify that too. We want A and B.
We already took the roll for A. That was just the 3 members.
Now you want to do
Now we're doing just B.
Okay, sorry. Executive Director and I aren't communicating clearly today.
Come on, Miss Penner.
Yes, I can do this. I've never had this much conversation over consent agenda items. Let me clear that up right now. On item B only, would you like to,
I'll amend my motion, but I'll move for approval of item B under the consent item.
thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair Penner,
Aye.
Mr. McCumber, Ms. Bolds,
Aye.
Mr. Taylor,
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Branning,
Aye.
Ms. Gard,
Aye.
Mr. Budnick, Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpion. Aye. Ms. Lai,
Aye.
Ms. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries for agenda item B, and we'll ask Mr. Budnick when he returns.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to discussion items. Item D, Adult Reentry Grant. Hello?
Yes, thank you. And I believe Mr. Budnick has also recused on this item.
This is Katie Thompson. Hi, Katie.
Good morning. Let me just make sure I get my slide going.
Apologies, Katie, you're sounding a little faint.
Okay, I'm almost organized here.
And we might not have had the microphone turned on, so I think it should improve.
Okay, yes,
There we
thank
go.
you.
Okay, is that okay? Everybody can hear me?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Penner and members of the board. My name is Katie Thompson, and I'm a field representative in the Grants Division and assigned to the Adult Reentry Grant. I'm here to present the funding recommendations for the Adult Reentry Grant Cohort 4 on behalf of your BSCC staff. First, I want to thank the Executive Steering Committee members and ESC Chair, Director Jason Johnson from CDCR. I also want to thank the additional volunteer scoring panel members who joined the ESC in the heavy lift of scoring and ranking more than 230 proposals. I have a short presentation on the screens, and you have documents in front of you with specific funding information and project summaries. Attachment D1 is also the list of ESC members and additional scoring panel members. Oops. I'll start with some background information to refresh your memories about the grant. The program provides funding for CBOs to support individuals formerly incarcerated in state prison. It was established in the 2018 Budget Act and receives annual appropriations. Up to today, 217 projects have been funded so far with $221 million. For Cohort 4, we put out an RFP with budget years 2023 and 2024 funding, broken out evenly, as per the legislation, between two main components: warm handoff, reentry services, and rental assistance, which you may remember is defined as direct housing costs. Eligible program participants are individuals formerly incarcerated in a California state prison facility with priority placed on individuals released to state parole. Of note, after we released the RFP, BSCC staff identified $19 million that had either been relinquished or remained unspent from previous cohorts. So we have added those funds to Cohort 4. I provided an overview of the RFP timeline. And again, I would like to acknowledge the ESC and Chair Johnson and the BSCC research and administrative teams for their hard work, coordination, and expertise in getting these funding recommendations in front of you today. As a reminder, here are the key grant components for ARG, Cohort 4, which include the restructuring of the grant as recommended by the ESC. As opposed to previous cohorts, 4 combines both components of the grant, rental assistance and warm handoff/reentry services, into one RFP to encourage a strong continuum of care for program participants. The funding threshold is at 4.5 million, split evenly between the 2 components. Yes, that reads 270 applications. I think I scared you a little. As I understand it, that is a record for any of the BSCC grant programs. After technical review, 231 moved forward for rating by the scoring panel. Due to the exceptionally high number of applications, we recruited additional subject matter experts and tapped several BSCC staff to round out the panels. Ultimately, with the funding available, 34 full grant awards and 5 partial awards are presented for your approval today. The ESC carefully considered the funding categories, and applicants chose which one they would compete in depending on geographical location, and in the case of the small county category, population size. Here is how the funding breaks out for each category. In your packet, attachment D2, you have the ranked list of applicants recommended for funding. And on attachment D3, it provides you with a summary of proposed projects. On the final slide, I've included the actions we are requesting the board to take today, and I'll go over each of them. 1, make conditional awards to fully fund 34 ARG proposals totaling $119 million. Number 2, partially fund 5 proposals for $8.2 million as they fell at the funding cutoff on the ranked order list. 3, authorize staff to continue awarding funds from the ranked ordered list if any applicant is unable to accept the award, relinquishes an award, or is deemed ineligible, first by offering to any partial awardee, then to the next highest ranked application. Number 4, authorize staff to continue awarding funds from the ranked ordered list during the grant period if funding becomes available through the 25-26 Budget Act, or because a grantee becomes ineligible during the grant period or relinquishes the award during the grant period. Number 5, finally, dissolve the Adult Reentry Grant Cohort 4 Executive Steering Committee and Scoring Panel upon approval of the funding recommendations. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Dr. Lai, there you go.
Thank you. I'm just a little confused about the partial funding. Can you explain that a little bit more, Katie?
Sure. Yeah, the legislation required that the grant dollars get evenly split, so there wasn't wiggle room between the 2 pots of money that were assigned to rental assistance and assigned to reentry services, warm handoff services. And so when applicants were coming in, they were asked to build proposals that address both of those issues. And as we were going through funding and funding the awards at what folks were asking for, we ran short on who/reentry dollars. And Colleen, you can jump up here too if you'd like. We have reached out and asked those applicants if they are able to move forward with rental assistance dollars and maybe less or no who dollars. And I believe they are all planning to move forward with leverage funds, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Dr. Lai, is that helpful?
Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lai.
Madam Chair, I have I think a similar kind of question, but it's around how the projects are going to be funded. Will they invoice for the funds, or are we going to give them a portion or all of the funding up front? What's the plan for that? Just so that we can, ensure that we have the administrative support to make sure that the funds are being expended appropriately.
Yeah, so we are doing this cohort, we're doing a 10% advance. And then throughout the cohort, it's a reimbursement on the invoice.
Perfect. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Anything further from the board? Do we have any public comment on the issue?
Yes, we do. We have one on Zoom. Tamisha, you can unmute yourself and speak.
And
Hi,
before we take public comment, sorry, Tamisha, before we take public comment, I would like to remind anyone in the room or virtually that public comment in this instance has to do with this agenda item only. If you wish to comment on anything other than this item, please hold until the end of the meeting.
And can we get the timer up too, please?
We're experiencing some technical difficulties with the timer. Hopefully, oh, maybe not. Maybe we should be good. Disregard me.
hello. My name is Tamisha Mann, and I am the founder and chief executive director of Regeneration Recovery and Reentry Services. We were one of the applicants, and my question that I had, I guess, for Katie, obviously we didn't get the award, but will we have an opportunity to find out where we rank? And also, will we have the opportunity to maybe, I know it's 270 people, go over why we weren't chose or anything like that?
Good morning, Deputy Director Colleen Curtin. Yes, you will have an opportunity to receive feedback on your proposal if you reach out to us through the Adult Reentry Grant website. And we can provide a summary sheet to show where your proposal scored in terms of the highest, the lowest, the average, and where you scored within each category as well.
Thank you.
If anyone else has a comment on Zoom, please raise your hand. Do we have anyone in the room? Please come up to the podium.
Anyone in the room like to comment on this grant only? Okay, thank you. Back to the board. Questions, comments? Moving forward, like a motion and second, adopting staff's recommendation. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Natalia?
Chair Penner?
Aye.
Mr. McCumber? Ms. Folds?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor?
Aye.
Mr. Haynes?
Aye.
Ms. Branning?
Aye.
Ms. Guard? Aye. Ms. Zaragoza?
Aye.
Ms. Lai?
Aye.
Ms. Castro Rodriguez?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries for agenda item D.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item E, local detention facilities inspection update. Steve?
All right, good morning, Madam Chair, board members, colleagues, and community members that are present and online. I'm Stephen Wicklander, the Acting Deputy Director for the Facilities Operations, or sorry, excuse me, let me start again, for the Facility Standards and Operations and the County Construction Divisions. I'm here this morning to provide a regular update on the status of our inspections and outstanding items of non-compliance. You have copies of the reports and the information is also available online. The 2025-2026 inspection cycle began on January 1st, 2025, and will conclude on December 31st of 2026. We are currently halfway through the 2025 comprehensive inspection cycle at this time. I'll begin with an update on the adult facility inspections. There are currently 23 outstanding corrective action items of non-compliance. The FSO team is working with the agencies to correct those non-compliance items. With that said, the non-compliance items do not rise to the level of requesting a sheriff to appear in front of the board at this time. Moving on to our juvenile facilities, there is currently one outstanding item of non-compliance in a juvenile facility that only affected one housing unit. The agency has corrected the item of non-compliance, and we are currently waiting on the final corrective action plan that is due July 22nd of 2025. Our website dashboard provides summaries and details of each item of noncompliance for both the adult and juvenile facilities. And this concludes my formal presentation. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from anybody regarding the report? None? Any public comment on this agenda item?
Yes, we have one on Zoom.
Thank you.
Paloma, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, yes, my name is Paloma Serna. I'm the mother of Elisa Serna, who died in one of the San Diego County jails in November of 2019. And I am with Saving Lives in Custody, California, North Equity Justice and Coalition. I would like to speak about the safety checks. It's been a problem. It's been a persistent problem and a deadly one also. And it needs to be addressed. Safety checks are not being done properly at all by deputies in our county jails. These so-called safety checks are supposed to be a critical safeguard, ensuring that people in custody are still alive and receiving the care. But time and time again, families are learning after it's way too late that these checks are being skipped, falsified, or done without even stepping into the cell. This was the case with my daughter, Elisa. There was a deputy that walked past her cell 5 to 6 times, which a federal judge made public the video, and we could watch this deputy walking past the cell 5 to 6 times as my daughter laid dying on the cell floor. You could watch those videos that I put up on justiceforelisaserna.com. And it's a shame, that they won't even call 911. I mean, if these individuals are such a problem, call 911. Send them out. Get them out of your hair, but let them be treated. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yusuf Miller, you can unmute yourself.
Natalia,
Yes, this is Yusef Miller with the North County Equity and Justice Coalition, Saving Lives in Custody, California. And I want to welcome the new appointees, Dr. Lai, and I want to thank Dr. Lai for joining us in San Diego County via Zoom for a listening session so the community can understand what this position is and her expertise and how to be valuable. And we think it will be valuable. We're keeping the eye on that chair. Also, I want to thank the chair Gonzalez. I'm sorry, I didn't get the first part of your name. I'm driving, so I couldn't really write anything down. So I want to Chair Gonzalez for the mental health expert. I want to welcome you and also invite you to San Diego if you can come in person, or if not, a on Zoom listening session for the community as well, so we can hear what your plans are for the seat and your plans are moving forward, and also hear from the families on what they've experienced in the mental health arena as far as in custody deaths and in custody living. So the with in regards to mental health. So I want to thank you and welcome you and send out that invite to you. And thank you also always, Allison Ganter, for joining us and helping us. She's the chair of the in custody death review. Now, with that being said, I want to move on to the issue in San Diego County. If you look at the Union Tribune, we have a grand jury report that came out talking about the dashboards that will be helpful in helping the community and everyone understand the progress in custody deaths and the issues that are going on there, which is the recommendation from the grand jury. But what I find most troubling is that the California correctional health care system has not certified San Diego County jails for the basic minimum constitutional health care and mental health care in our county. So we have a basic health care for inmates with the Title 15 of the state, and for the Constitution for Amendment 14 that says all treatment, equal treatment under the law. So this equal treatment of health care and mental. Okay.
Yusuf,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
And that's it for the Zoom comments.
anything in the room?
Nothing on this item.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
That actually brings us to the end of the meeting, and now is the time set for any individual wishing to make public comments on any item, either before the board or not before the board at this point. And I would ask everybody to be cognizant of the time and speak only as it permits.
Present. And I believe that it's important to be present for public comment. I am curious as to whether or not those might relate to the LA juvenile facilities, in which case I'm
Yeah,
recused,
understood.
as is Mr. Budnick. So the question is there a way to group comments if in fact some of those people want to speak to that issue so that
I think we could do that.
up and down?
Looking to those, is there anyone virtually?
We have three.
Three, and anyone in the room, if you would like to comment on specifically Los Angeles, can you raise your hand and we'll take those first? LA, 3 LA? 12 LA?
Maybe take the others first and then
Okay.
use.
Those who don't want to comment on LA, but something other than, can you raise your hand? Seeing none in the room, do we have any online that want to comment on anything not LA?
We have 3 on Zoom. Paloma?
Yes, hi. My name is Paloma Serna, mother of Elisa Serna, who died in
Paloma?
San Diego County.
Well,
Yes.
just a moment, please. Is it on LA that you'd like to talk?
No.
Okay, go forward. Sorry.
Okay, so I am with my daughter. I'm the mother of Elisa Serna, who died November 11, 2019. I'm with Saving Lives in Custody, California, and North County Equity and Justice Coalition. I want to begin by thanking BSCC and Custody Death Review Director Allison Ganter and board member Dr. Karen Lai for attending the listening session in San Diego last month. Your presence and willingness to hear directly from impacted families meant a great deal to our community. We hope it marks the beginning of ongoing engagement and deeper accountability. Today, I am urging BSCC to do more. The BSCC is responsible for setting minimum jail standards, but minimum should never mean inhumane. You have the authority and the responsibility to withhold funding from the counties that fail to meet basic health and safety requirements. Yet we continue to witness death after death with little to no consequences for sheriffs or the medical contractors involved. Families like mine are left to do the work of investigation and oversight. We show up month after month because no one else is listening. We are calling on this board to raise standards, strengthen enforcement, and stop funding jails that are failing to protect the people in their custody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yusuf, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, back to San Diego County with the grand jury report. Our county jails don't meet the basic constitutional standards to get the certification in healthcare or mental health care. So I think that should be a huge red flag for BSCC to not only check San Diego, but all the jails and prisons throughout the state to make sure that they at least are certified for this basic medical and mental health. That is the California correctional healthcare system, which certifies jails and prisons for their healthcare standards. And there is the constitutional right for the inmates to have this kind of care. So it's no wonder that San Diego was on the highest in custody death rate in the entire state. And most of it had to do with mental health and lack and indifference to medical care, like you heard with Paloma Serna. Ms. Paloma Serna and myself put in the request for the grand jury to check into San Diego County last year. And it was because we were sure that these things were not being looked at. And when it all comes out to wash, San Diego County has not been and is not now certified in the basic constitutional rights of our inmates when it comes to medical and mental health. This needs to be seriously looked at and called on the carpet, not only for San Diego County, but for all counties throughout the state to make sure that our constitutional rights for our loved ones are not being violated. They may be only one person to all of us here, but they are the world to the loved ones who are waiting for them to come home safely and not to be lost to being misclassified with mental health or not receiving proper medication and they die from neglect and indifference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Colin, you can unmute yourself.
Good morning. My name is Colin Ford, Director of Policy at Fresh Lifelines for Youth, FLY. I'm speaking today on two issues. First, to raise serious concerns about ongoing abuse at the McGuire Correctional Facility in San Mateo County, and second, to highlight the urgent need for SYTF specific minimum standards. According to multiple individuals we work with at FLY, in May there were reported instances of unnecessary and excessive force used by COs at McGuire Correctional Facility. While waiting to receive medication, multiple individuals were in an altercation that was responded to by 25 officers, which devolved into what they described as a mass beating. Later in the day and week, individuals were subjected to physical and collective punishment as retaliation. Access to programming and recreation was repeatedly reduced. As a method of corporal punishment, everyone on the unit was restrained with zip ties behind their back and made to kneel outside their cells while rooms were searched. One individual also reported being taken to an elevator where he was beaten and suffered a broken wrist and head injury. Another individual from the initial altercation was described as being left in his own blood and urine and denied medical attention for nearly an hour. These are not isolated incidents. They're systemic failures in a facility that is supposedly responsible for care and rehabilitation of transition-aged youth that we work with. We urge the BSCC to investigate, ensure compliance with Title 15, and hold the SMC sheriff and McGuire Correctional Facility staff accountable. On a separate note, I want to express deep concern over the lack of progress in the juvenile Title 15 regulation revision process. It's been months since the ESC or working groups have met. Meanwhile, youth in SYTFs are being denied the education, laptops, programming, and reentry planning they need to succeed. The supports provided are not only insufficient, they're often taken away directly as punishment. Even family visits are being restricted. SYTFs were meant to be more rehabilitative alternatives to DJJ, but we're just recreating the same conditions under a new name, and we need SYTF specific standards under Title 15.
Thank you. And we have a couple people who requested to speak. Helen, Mary, and Rachel, if you're on the call, please raise your hand so I can unmute you. And I don't see that they are coming on, so that is it for public comment on Zoom.
Okay, and I believe the rest of the comments have to do with LA. And so if you'd like to leave now, that'd be great. Okay, Natalia.
Jade, please come up to the podium.
Yes, good morning. We originally came here when we planned for this trip. I'm with, first of all, my name is Jay Green with the Justice Coalition in South Central Los Angeles. And when we originally came here, we were going to talk about the item that's crossed off on here. And I just want to say it's really frustrating that, you know, when we come to show up to talk about matters that pertain to what's going on in LA County with the youth prisons, and then for it to be marked off and us to find out like at the last minute is extremely frustrating. It's already bad enough that we know that LA County probation cannot be trusted. And we basically are just requesting that all correspondence for the documentation around the reinspection process of Barry J. And the timeline of that correspondence be given to the public. I don't understand how there's no checks and balances, and the people of Los Angeles don't know what's happening. You guys are just doing things that, you know, it's not transparent. And it's like, it doesn't matter what the facility is, the same problems keep persisting. And it's like, there's no accountability for this. And the people of Los Angeles County demand that you guys have more transparency around what's happening with these youth prisons, because at the end of the day, you guys don't experience what these young people are experiencing. And at the end of it, they are the ones, each and every day that they're locked up, they are the ones at risk. Their families are at risk. On top of that, with all the stuff that's happening down there with the immigration and stuff, a lot of this is it's just way too much. Where is the accountability and the transparency for what you guys are supposed to be doing for these youth prisons? Thank you.
You.
Shahida Shakur, if you can come up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Tara Shakur, and I'm the Director of Organizing at the Youth Justice Coalition. I'm here today because the lack of transparency from probation is unacceptable. We still don't have concrete timelines on when young people are being moved, and that's disgusting. Community members came to this meeting expecting answers. Instead, we're told the next opportunity to hear about what's happening in LA isn't until September. That's barbaric. Every day without answers is another day families live in fear, walking on eggshells, wondering what's next. Probation keeps asking for more time, but how much more time do you need when young people are at risk? We've already presented youth-centered development-based plans, plans rooted in care, not cages. What we see is also the BSCC enabling probation to continue running a facility that doesn't even meet the basic needs or standards for young people or any human being. As James Baldwin said, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. And what we see is a department avoiding accountability at every turn. Our young people deserve better, and we're demanding it today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob Jackson.
If he's out of the room, if he comes back in, we can catch him. You want to move to the next then?
Justin Marks.
And who's after Justin?
Judith.
Judith, are you here, Judith? Do we need?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Good morning. My name is Justin Andrew Marks. I'm coming 9 hours from Los Angeles today on a bus to speak with you all about probation's global plan and how insufficient and harmful it is. I know that the BSCC is the authority to determine the suitability of these facilities, and yet we continue to see the shuffling around of young people from one subpar facility to another. Meanwhile, probation officers continue to abuse and harass young folks and abusing their trust. What we're asking for today is for the BSCC to be transparent in the correspondence about the inspections for these facilities, including Dorothy Kirby, as well as Los Padrinos and Sylmar. It's time for a change. I know that this body's actions are limited in what you can do, but we are asking you to do your job, which is to hold probation accountable, is to ensure the safety of young people in the state's care, and to be transparent about your jobs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judith. And then Jorge, you're next after Judith.
Oh, next after Judith?
That'd be great.
That's Jacob.
Oh, Jacob
All right,
Jackson.
Jacob, there you go.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's still morning. So good morning, BSCC members. My name is Jacob Jackson. I'm here today with the Youth Justice Coalition. We're demanding full transparency from the BSCC regarding the global plan. The community deserves the right to review and publicly comment on how this plan will impact us and our loved ones, especially those directly affected by these decisions. Let's be clear, the current global plan fails to address the root problem within probation, particularly the fact that it does not comply with Title 15 and 24 regulations. The conditions in these juvenile halls are already below standard, and yet the plan does nothing to fix that. One of the biggest underlying issues is that probation is severely understaffed, and that it's not being acknowledged or addressed in the plan. Without adequate staff, there is no way to safely or effectively support the young people in these facilities. I came here today to bring light to the situation, to make sure community voices are heard. And removing Barry J. Norda from the agenda does not give us any closure or confidence that this plan will truly serve our youth. If anything, it makes us question how committed the BSCC is to transparency and accountability. This is a public crisis. You, the BSCC, and other decision makers have already voted multiple times declaring that these juvenile halls are unsuitable, yet they remain open and operating illegally. We're not here to bash anyone. We're here to see clarity, accountability, and real solution. Let's do better for the sake of our young people in our communities. Thank you for this moment in time.
Thank you.
Judith?
Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, my name is Judith Pop, and I'm the Street Cred Coordinator at Youth Justice Coalition, based in South Central Los Angeles. I'm here to speak today about not only as an advocate, but as a community member demanding transparency and accountability. We are calling for the immediate release of all probation reinspection documents. The people have the right to know. Time and time again, probation has showed us, our youth, our families, and the world that it is incapable of real changes. Young people, mostly Black, brown, low income, and coming from communities already targeted by state violence, are being pulled from their families, often for circumstances rooted in poverty, and placed in institutions that cause deeper, long lasting harm. This system does not protect us, it punishes them, it dehumanizes them, and it fails them over and over again. Our youth deserve healing, not cages. They deserve investment, not surveillance. They deserve support, not systems that traumatize them for life. Do your job, be honest with the people, release the documents, and ultimately shut it down because our youth deserve more than survival. They deserve to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can have Jorge Garcia and Imari Wallace to the podium.
Hello, my name is George Garcia, and I am a YJC. Today, I want to address a pressing issue that demands our immediate attention. The operation of Los Padrinos. This facility has raised serious concerns regarding the treatment of our youth within its walls, um, exposing vulnerable young individuals to violence and inhumane conditions. We've heard alarming reports of forced fights among the youth, forcing them to fight for food, to fight for coming out on time, whether the staff are telling them to fight, and whether if they fight or not, they tell them, oh, we're gonna pick on you guys and stuff. Furthermore, there are significant legal challenges facing LA County Probation Department, including a substantial lawsuit, that 4.4 billion sexual assault lawsuit against probation and the juvenile halls. And I urge you guys to join me in the calling for the immediate closure of Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall. It is time to prioritize the safety and dignity of our youth over the continuation of the institution that has proven to be harmful. We need urgent reform and we need to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Imari, and then can we have Jeff Hines come?
Hi, my name is Imari Wallace. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I'm with Youth Justice Coalition. I'm here today because young people in LA County are being locked away in dangerous, inhumane conditions, and we're demanding justice. Los Patrinos Juvenile Hall, like many other youth facilities in Los Angeles County, has been out of compliance for years. It's been short-staffed, unsafe, and under investigation, and yet it's still open. I got gum in my mouth. Um, we have to ask ourselves, is this what we think young people deserve? I say no. I say shut it down. Youth deserve second chances, not cages. They deserve care, not punishment. Too many of our youth have been failed by underfunded schools, pushed out of their homes, targeted by police, denied real support. And now, when we are trying to help them or heal them, we lock them in cages. There was a $4 billion lawsuit against the juvenile system for a widespread sexual assault scandal. Let that sink in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, followed by Floyd.
All right, hello, how are y'all doing today? My name is Jeffrey Hines from the Youth Justice Coalition. I am the Youth Development Coordinator. Since I started this job, I've been coming up here. I think my first week of this job, I came up here talking to y'all about Los Padrinos and how it is unsuitable. We found that it is. You guys agreed, and yet we're still dealing with this facility. Youth are still in there dealing with subpar conditions, still being harmed. Um, all we're asking for is transparency. What is the timeline for these youth to be, moved out of it? We could keep saying that they're going to be moved out of it, but if there is no timeline to be held accountable to, then this facility is allowed to stay open. You can't say that the facility and everything going on in it is fine when there is a $4 billion lawsuit that is known that articles have been written about the abuse that youth have been going on in there since the 1950s. I wasn't even a thought in the 1950s, and I'm up here advocating for a facility that's had stuff going on in it since the 1950s that I know people have been talking about. All we're asking for is transparency. What is the timeline? When are these youth going to be moved out of it? Because each day that they are in there, there's a chance for them to go through the same thing that this lawsuit is saying and claiming that is happening. We know that there's gladiator fights because it's been caught on tape. I don't know how much, like, what it would take to make this a priority, but it needs to be a priority because how many more youth need to go through these same things that we've seen and we know before it is, the fire is lit up underneath us to make it happen. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Floyd, and followed by Sophia.
My name is Floyd from Youth Justice Coalition. Hi, my name is Floyd from Youth Justice Coalition. I have been locked up in Los Paginos when I was 16, now I'm 22. We traveled 8 hours today to address the probation globe. However, we have came to learn that this meeting has been held to a closed session, which is presents us members from the public to addressing critical flaws in this plan. We are deeply concerned that this plan does not personalize the future or well-being of young people. We also know that their youth are currently incarcerated and who are eligible for release or could be diverted, but probation has yet to take action on these cases. On my personal experience, I have been locked up in juvenile. I was forced to fight basic human needs like water, food, a toothbrush. I've been locked up in solitary confinement, which causes mental health issues like PTSD, brain damage. It shapes my way of community, and currently, and so I'm committed to help young people to face that has similar charges and resolve this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We have Sophia, Janzara, and Dontre.
My name is Sophia, and I came to speak about how the juvenile system, which needs more resources, there should be more youth centers that are willing to give the youth mental health services and jobs along with any other type of support they might need. The Youth Justice Coalition has helped me get my high school diploma and provided me with a counselor. These youth should be able to have access to jobs in order to be more successful and productive to keep them out of trouble. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, BSCC. My name is Jazara. I'm here to address the fact that you guys removed an agenda item that needs transparency. Won't be scheduled for another 3 months while we're going through a crisis. You rather talk amongst yourselves than the community. The global planning either after it will not work. And time again, probation has proved it is not safe for youth in lockup. LA County probation can be trusted no matter which facility they're being placed at. These problems have consisted. BSCC has said themselves there's a lack of faith and a never-ending cycle of being out of compliance. There's a complete lack of urgency in every plan you guys probation has failed and will continue to fail if you don't put these youth first. Myself is a first-time offender at the age of 16. With the lack of resources and bullying I was going through turned into me trying to do something to myself landed me incarcerated and at risk of deportation, even though my dad was deported at 2 months and is not on my birth certificate. Given all these rules, anger management, community service, but no resources or referral to get these things done. When I asked my probation officer for a job, she offered me a group home. What she didn't know that I had been working since I was 14 at a work source called WOCAC, and it makes me a better person when I'm doing something with myself. The system failed me. It wasn't until I came into contact with YJC that these things began to happen for me. I completed all my requirements 1 month before I can get swallowed up into the system for 5 years, getting out at the age of 21. I am now 22, been employed for 4 years, graduated on time, class of 2021, now the Rebel Garden coordinator and employ youth like myself as well as organizing. Give these kids a chance.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Devontre Farmer. I'm a youth organizer here with YJC, and I'm here to ask that we get some transparency. What probation is doing is like crazy, and the fact that we came out here a 9-hour drive, and for them to close the session last minute, so now that we have to wait months to deal with these crises is even crazier. And LA County probation still gets to slither through the cracks, and they cannot be trusted. You guys yourself stated that they cannot be trusted. They're not in compliance and they're not doing the job. So with that being said, these juvenile centers, with them not being in compliance, us as a community, we feel the same way. And we lived it and we're experiencing it still to this day. So the fact that 30 probation staff is dealing with a $1 billion lawsuit due to having these kids fight each other for food or for extra phone time or to go outside or just for their entertainment and their ignorance, it's even crazier. Just think about it. Y'all kids being in there. Think about something happening to y'all kids in there. Yeah. So, and probation doesn't see any of this as a problem. They don't see any of this as a problem. So how is it that they're having conversations, holding these conversations privately about the things that happen to our youth in these juvenile centers? And not one of the youth inside of these centers or that's free outside that experience these things or can be involved in these conversations. That's not fair. That's not fair to the community. That's not fair to us at all. So me having to raise my 5-year-old son living in Los Angeles, California, it scares me. It hurts it breaks my soul because I know how police and probation is. They profile you from when you're born, from when you come out of the womb, especially being Black or brown. So me having to raise my son is my everything. So probation, police. Okay, time is up.
Thank you.
And that's it for the public comment.
Thank you, thank you. Let me just say this, unexpected issues arose and the matter was taken off the agenda because we did not have enough to make a decision one way or other about LA. And with that said, I appreciate your time and your effort and your travel. And your remarks are on the record and heartfelt and meaningful. And I heard one individual say something I just want to confirm is not true, and that is that we are going into closed session to discuss this agenda item. That is not factual. We go into closed session to discuss legal issues pending. Thank you. And with that said, this agenda item will never be decided without the public being present if they wish to be, and your comments being on record if you would like them to be. I just want to say I'm grateful you made the trip, and while it doesn't feel meaningful because that agenda item wasn't on, I think all the board members here and virtually appreciate your comments. Anybody else on the board wish to say anything?
I would like to. I also, want to recognize that you all are here and your voices are important. And, coming up here on a bus is not easy. I've done that bus trip many times in my life and it is not easy. I can see and hear how deeply you all care. I'm in LA. I care about every single one of these young people that are incarcerated in LP and in all the facilities. Um, I think the most frustrating part of all of this is that there's no clear end in sight, right? Like it just feels like we're doing this song and dance, and every single meeting that probation shows up in, they're just dodging questions and being vague and just dancing around the reality that they continue to operate a facility unlawfully. Um, I will say that Ms. Kakani, who left a public comment earlier, said something in the Probation Oversight Commission meeting that was held a couple of days ago. They held a special meeting to talk to probation about their depopulation plan. And a point that she made that I feel we should hold on to is that, you know, Judge Espinoza gave probation some very clear timeframes in which they have to meet certain deadlines, which may be impossible for them to meet, right? And so they are on a 30-day track with some things and 45-day track for other things. And what I heard Ms. Kakani say that I think is important is that if probation fails to meet their depopulation plan without cause, the court will adopt its tentative ruling, which is that probation would have to clear out Los Padrinos. And so I would suggest that you all just keep a close eye on those court hearings. You all are welcome to attend those hearings and sit in the audience and follow along that timeline. I think it would be important for Judge Espinoza to see you all in the courtroom and to see that you all are listening and that you all are following along very closely. Thank you.
Anyone else on the board?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say thank you to all of you, both in the room and those that are online to give your public comment. Believe me, the board is certainly aware of the valid concerns that you have regarding Los Padrinos and what the future is, whether it be Barry J or whatever we come up with Los Angeles County Probation. But I think Ms. Zaragoza makes a really good point, is that the court right now, as it handles, you know, all of the matters with Judge Espinoza, the BSCC has provided documentation around where we are with inspection reports. Those things have been made available to the court, which means is available to you as well. And also through the BSCC website, any reports that inspection reports are there. So as far as transparency, as much as we've given LA County and any county in the state their inspection reports, they're available to the public online through the BSCC website. So there are places where you can get the most up-to-date information that you have there. I was looking at Fresno's, and we had our unannounced inspection from May is posted there. The latest from Los Angeles is the April 9th report that's posted online. So at least there are some resources there to kind of take a look at where, so you can take a look at the latest inspection reports that we've done. So just to let you know that as much as we can be transparent, that information is out there for you to take a look at. But that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one more public comment
oh.
as well that I skipped over.
We skipped somebody.
Nat.
Natalie, sorry. That wasn't right. Apologize.
Well, doesn't this feel awkward?
There you go. There you go.
Anyways. Hello, my name is Natalie Segura. I am with the Youth Justice Coalition. I am a Lobo Fellow and a Free LA high school student. Today, I want to address a pressing issue regarding to the operation of Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall that continues to be out of compliance. The community is looking for transparency regarding the probation department's depopulation. The department has been unable to show us any details or timelines related to the facilities in question. Los Angeles juvenile halls are operating with limited resources after these populations adjustments. The department will still have the number of staff and youth population will remain unchanged. The Youth Justice Coalition is dedicated to creating meaningful change for our youth. We believe in empowering young people through opportunities like part-time jobs, fellowships, and diverse programs. By utilizing strategies such as transformative justice, we aim to provide essential support and guidance to help youth navigate their futures. Thanks to the Youth Justice Coalition, I'm a part of the Lobo Fellowship and now graduating from Free LA High this following week. Thank you.
Hey, graduation, good job.
I also want to thank you all for using your voices here, for using your voices in such a strong and productive way. Thank you. I'm also in Los Angeles, and right now is a really great time to remember the power that we have as individuals and as citizens of this country. And you're welcome here. We appreciate you coming here and using your voices. So thank you very much.
Okay, ready to adjourn the meeting unless board members have something?
Not adjourned, Madam Chair. Going into closed session.
Well, we're going to adjourn the public part of the meeting. You and I have been in conflict this entire meeting. We're going to adjourn this portion and go into closed session, yes. We will not be coming back out on the record, will we?
Just to adjourn.
Just to adjourn, no public comment. So I didn't want to give you the impression there'd be more from the public after we come back. So with that said, we'll clear the room and proceed with the legal portion. Thank you all. Record. Okay, we're back on the record and we have completed our closed session and no, it's not. I'm right on this one. I just want that on the record. I am right on this. If Aaron had said it, I would have.
She's not fighting with me.
I've gone across the room at him. And we're back on the record for closed session, and I think it is time to adjourn the meeting. And we'll see you all back on July 17th for our next meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.